The latest collection is Geometric 2, which we are launching in September of this year. It was originally conceived as a follow-on to the very successful Geometric collection launched in 2011. But following a trip I made to Miami in the winter of 2013, I was clearly very influenced by the incredible Art Deco architecture on South Beach. As well as that, a lot of the tropical foliage and plants were in a real contrast to the geometry and structure of the architecture, sort of grew out of that. The Luxor design is a very intricate trellis design. Trellises have always been popular in wallpapers, but generally tend to reference the sort of garden and conservatory look. So in keeping with the theme of this collection, we wanted to make it a little bit more industrial and sharp edged. We've created this very intricate and complex design, which actually looks very calm and sophisticated on a wall. Luxor comes in 6 colourings. We start with this very moody charcoal and bronze, a smart black and white, a rather more subtle stone on white, a very jazzy pink and orange, lime and grey, and a moody mole teamed with metallic gold. The puzzle design was all about taking that very fundamental and basic structural element, the cube, and I suppose turning it on its head. I also knew that I wanted to try and get a lot of colour into this design. The production method is silkscreen, and each individual screen is turned into a cylinder which rolls against the paper, so you get a continuous print run. And each of these screens prints a separate colour, and so you start off with printing the first colour, which might be a pale neutral or white, moving on to the second colour, which is a grey, and then a darker grey, up to a maximum of 8 colours. And so you finish up with the full print, which is this wonderful sort of conglomeration of colour. So we're offering puzzle in 6 colourings. We start with an interesting black, white and grey on stone. We have a wonderfully subtle and chalky white on white. We have a very moody and rich charcoal grey on black. Next we come to a very soft, pretty pastel pinks, corals and soft blues. We have a very vibrant and fun pink, orange and brick on grey. And we finish up with an incredibly vibrant acid yellow and lime on charcoal. The mosaic design is this lovely little small-scale geometric, almost inspired, you could say, by all those skyscraper windows that you see in these great American cities. It's printed with a combination of techniques, what we call in the industry Surflex, and that's a combination of surface print and flexographic printing. The flexographic printing is quite a flat process, and so the edges of the cubes, if you notice, are actually quite flat. And then we finish off with the surface print, which is a much more textured and relief print mark, which is what creates the square on the front. Mosaic is presented in 4 colourings, a lovely soft charcoal with bronze, a stone with gold, chalky white on grey, and a rich teal on a dark navy ground. The Miami design is the most complex of the designs in the collection. It turns the idea of geometry upside down a little bit and really takes it to its limits. It was inspired by my trip to Florida, and particularly to the Florida Keys, where you have this wonderful views of palm trees, exotic foliage, trellising, clapboard houses, different layers, balconies, and we knew that we wanted to create then this intricate paper. The design was built up in layers, literally. First of all, we have to get the basic structure right, because at the end of the day this is a wallpaper and it has to work as such, so it has to repeat. Each element of the architecture has to interlock into itself to build up the repeat. Once we had that as a framework, we could then start placing in the foliage, blocks of colour to balance it, if you like. And so we end up with this wonderfully sort of all over balanced, rhythmic, almost Escher-like combination of staircases and layers and plants. It really is just a fantastically engineered design. And the Miami design comes in two colourings. The first being a very naturalistic and verdant olive green with these lovely flashes of pink and coral. The second is a moodier colouring, which was actually inspired by a tropical storm, which I experienced when I was there. So you have these incredible flashes of bright yellow lightning, which almost reflects the neon signage of Miami Beach, against this sort of background of slate grey and sort of midnight blue. Really was quite spectacular. Riviera is a simple little design, but actually an incredibly elegant and effective motif. The oval being a very popular deco motif, we wanted to introduce something with a little bit of softness, a little bit more curve to it, rather than straight lines and angles. We've created it using a very slight textured relief print mark, and I think this shows up wonderfully well against the metallic and this lovely chalky ground which we've printed on. We're offering Riviera in 4 smart neutral colourings: black and white, grey and charcoal, linen and black, and this wonderfully smoky soot with black. The Delano design takes an incredibly familiar motif and turns it into what is actually an extremely versatile wallpaper. Because of its simplicity, you can almost put anything with it. It doesn't restrict itself to one particular style, so contemporary, funky, ethnic. It really acts as a canvas for many different stylistic interpretations to be put on top of it. We've coloured it in quite sharp colourings, which I think gives it a pizzazz and a real buzz. The first, a very sharp black, white and gold, moving into a sophisticated grey, black with white, an elegant yellow, black and white, a rather more fun pink, charcoal and white, and finally a lovely moody sapphire blue with dark charcoal. Prism was designed as a smaller version of the very successful Circus panel design. The original design is much larger in scale and comes over several panels, but because of its success we wanted to offer something in a much more small and usable package. It comes on a 68.5 centimetre wide roll, so it's slightly wider than the average roll, but this has allowed us to, as designers, get much more design into the canvas. It is a wonderful little design because it almost reminds me of a sort of modern day stained glass window, and what is really interesting is that it works in either a very contemporary setting or actually quite a traditional one. The deco palm design is interesting because in actual fact it's a much more geometric and almost cubist version of our very popular palm leaf design. We wanted to do something very contemporary with it and something that actually doesn't reference the earlier palm design but looks very different. Deco palm is offered in 5 colourings, the first of which follows on this lovely acid yellow and charcoal theme, these wonderful ochres and yellows on a lovely sooty black. Then we move into a chalky white story with these lovely shades of chalk and grey and stone teamed together. Obviously we couldn't do a palm leaf without doing a green. We have these lovely olives and teals, and we come to a very deco and fun colouring of pink, gold and charcoal neutrals. And we finish on a rather moody and ethnic brick red with teal, charcoal and olive. Apex Grand also has its roots in the original geometric collection. We've recreated it here at a slightly larger scale. So again, this is on a 68.5 centimetre wide roll. Apex Grand comes in 5 colourings, a very smart and sophisticated brick teamed with neutral, caramel and charcoal, moving into a softer, creamy caramel, gold and white. We have a very sharp and sophisticated grey, black with silver. We have a somewhat moodier olive grey teamed with gold. And we have a rather more fun teal teamed with turquoise and dark navy blue. Oblique, again, was designed in-house. A very simple design, but actually very effective. The oblique design comes in 4 colourings and features sort of parallel and non-parallel lines crisscrossed with these fine metallic threads of ribbon. First of these is a lovely soft grey and white. We have a soft caramel on cream teamed with gold. We have a very rich teal and charcoal teamed with bronze. And we finish on a very sharp black and white and gold. The tile design currently features in our Frontier collection. We feel we've given it a better home here. We've included a few existing colourings, but it really is an incredibly versatile but effective little geometric print. We have 5 colourways of the ever popular tile. The very obvious black and white to begin with. We have a sooty grey with gilver, a wonderful subtle chalky white, soft grey and silver, and then a rather more nautical blue and white. Geometrics can often be fun to use with one another together. Here we've used the Delano design juxtaposed with the mosaic design. I often feel that a difference of scale can create just that little bit of decorative tension. Geometric 2 really carries on where Geometric left off. But what we've done with this new collection is we've added a little bit more colour. We've taken some quite familiar motifs and I think reinterpreted them in quite a different way. It's a really fun and versatile collection.